Hello, I'm Kevin Benedict, Senior Vice President of Solution Strategy, and I'm just thrilled this week to be here live at VMware, or VMworld 2018, I should say. And our guest today is Chris Wolfe. And Chris, you've got a really cool title. You had your VP and CTO of Global Field and Industry. Talk to us about that, and thank you for joining.
Yeah, sure. My team manages the field interactivity with the R&D team, so we have a CTO ambassador organization that's over 150 people strong that really help to align early R&D initiatives with customers, making sure that the solutions that we're bringing to market are fully aligned with customer needs. So that's about half of my job.
Okay.
The other half, the industry part, it really means more about emerging technologies. So in my organization, we have the CTOs for NFV, IoT, server platforms, high performance computing, and machine learning, and some other areas.
Just a few.
Keeps us busy.
So instead of you guys just being in a lab thinking that these are good ideas that people are going to buy, you're out there engaged with, through the ambassador program, actual end user customers, saying, is this problem real, and is this a solution that can resolve that?
That's absolutely right. I mean, really defining the early requirements, finding customers that might be doing interesting things in open source, finding what some of the gaps they have might be, areas that we can address. So it boils down to having just a strong partnership between our R&D organizations and our customers. Okay,
very good. So walk me through a typical day here at VMware or VMworld. So what's it look like for you? When does it start? When does it end? And what do you have to do during the day?
Well, for me, usually it's up at 4:30, 5 o'clock. Go for a run. Get going. Certainly meeting smart folks like yourself. Meeting with lots of customers. And I don't get to typically attend any sessions at VMworld because my schedule is just so busy, but I love to go through the VMworld replays after the show just so I can really learn myself and get some of the content and get that benefit too.
Got it. So what are the key themes that you're repeating and sharing here at the event?
Certainly, there's a lot of interest and excitement around the flexibility in terms of bringing cloud services to the edge and what that could mean, or even to the data center for that matter. And the idea that cloud starts to become more of an operating model, not necessarily a place, is something that people are really starting to take to heart. So it's now more about, let me architect my solutions based on the business requirements, and if I can bring the cloud service into a physical locale and that's the best solution for the business, then let's go do it. And that's really exciting to our customers and to our partners.
Wow. So talk to me about this concept of edge computing. What does it mean in your vocabulary?
To me, it means it's really the place where the digital and physical worlds intersect. It's where data is created. It's where data is consumed. It's often where data can also be processed. So it's all about getting the apps and services as close to often the data consumption point as possible. And that allows things like more real-time inference, real-time decision-making. When customers are trying to be more digital and just more dynamic, this is real key initiatives for many of them.
Wow. So in your title, which is a very cool title, I don't see the word futurist, yet when I look at the description of what you do, you're looking in the future and saying, what do we need to build into our stack, into our cloud, into our infrastructure? How do you do that?
Yeah, it's really about understanding where the requirements are, so you can start to think about what are some of the problems people are looking to solve, whether it's driving greater customer intimacy, whether it's solutions like augmented reality. You can see so much potential with augmented reality as an example, but at the same time you're like, well, why hasn't it taken off, right? What are the barriers? So then you start to break down those barriers and say, okay, well, what are some areas where we can solve and work with some of our partners to start to make this technology more of a real thing and more mainstream. So I was always trying to see some of those trends, and ultimately it also boils down to listening to your customers. A lot of the best ideas that I have often comes from having a meeting with a customer, talking to a CIO about a business problem, and just the two of us getting together on a whiteboard and saying, what can we actually do to solve this? And then we can start to turn those into new R&D initiatives.
Oh, that's brilliant. So thought leadership, I see that your team is responsible for the thought leadership in a lot of different areas. Is thought leadership more or less important than it has been in the past, do you think?
It's important in the context of the thought leadership needs to be real, it needs to be pragmatic, it needs to be relatable, I think is some of the key areas. It's not just about putting some bold idea out there where there's not a clear path to how to actually realize that idea. So for us, it's really important to transparently project where VMware is going and also where VMware is not going. That's a real key to thought leadership as well, because it's important for our partners to understand what are the areas that we expect them to innovate in and complement the work that we're doing.
So thought leadership, when we talk about thought leadership, what does that mean to you? Is that white papers? Is that video? Is that, what is it? What are all the different communication tools that your team uses for thought leadership?
Yeah, we certainly social media, of course, Twitter, LinkedIn, and others, blogging, speaking at events. We love the VMUG community. We certainly attend and listen and learn at as many VMUG events as possible. Of course, the different various CXO events as well. So it's really any time that we can get in front of folks is important, but equally important is ensuring that we have time for that two-way exchange of ideas, because thought leadership isn't just about projecting, it's about listening and constantly challenging your own ideas to make sure they're right in the first place.
Ah, brilliant. So what are some of the emerging technologies out there right now that most interest you?
Certainly for me, it's work I've been involved in for the past 2 years has been around edge computing, landing a variety of cloud services at the edge and getting these services closer to the data has been extremely exciting for me. And that gets into conversations around deep learning inference and more real-time decision making and automation. And these are just, I think, very exciting areas. It's just making the world smarter, it's making the world more efficient, and it's just creating new opportunities, and I think all of that's very exciting.
So when I look at, kind of where we are in history, I see all this infrastructure that has finally kind of come together and is working, is functioning quite well. So now it's time for the intelligent layers to come over top and to even do more brilliant things.
It absolutely is. We finally gotten to a point where we have the processing power, we have the intelligence, we have the fabrics that can actually get these intelligence services to all of these different places. And that's really exciting. So this is just going to continue to accelerate the pace of innovation.
All right. Well, Chris, I want to thank you so much for
thank you, Kevin.
taking time out of your busy schedule to share with all of us out here. So thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.